named Diddy 77 times in court documents related to Tupac Shakur.
There's a record of fact that Mr. Davis is present in custody.
Influence, and some might say the motivato ensure certain. Truths never see the light of day. It's a chilling thought, isn't it, that a witness who could have exposed everything is now nowhere to be found. The disappearance of victim 3 isn't the first time Diddy's name has been connected to a witness. Mysterious livenishing, in fact, over the years, several key figures linked to both Shakur's case and Diddy.
Only man currently facing charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
These controversies have either gone silent or faded into obscure under suspicious circumstances. Take Eric Zip Martin, for example, the man allegedly responsible, delivering the weapon used in Shakur's drive-by, while Zip was often described as the intermediary between Diddy and the Southside Crips. He'd never faced charges and passed away quietly in 2019, leaving behind a trail of few unanswered questions. Some speculate that Zip's untimely demise may have been convenient for those who didn't want the full details of the bounty ever coming to light. Others believe that Zip, knowing too much, may have deliberately distanced himself from the chaos to protect his case of Orlando Anderson, the man widely believed to have pulled the trigger that night in Vegas. Anderson, much like victim 3, was a central figure whose testimony could have unraveled the entire narrative. But his life was captured in an unrelated altercation just 2 years after Shakur's passing, Willie officially dismissed as a street dispute. Conspiracy theorists have long wondered. Anderson's demise was orchestrated. Tonsure. He never spoke.
Right now, Davis is fighting for bail ahead of his trial, which he has pleaded not guilty for.
Publicly. About their all motives behind the attack, or both those who allegedly ordered it. What's even more unsettling is that Anderson's death marked the start of a pattern. Key players in this saga either vanishing or dying before they could ever testify. Court. Is victim 3 just the latest in a long line of people silenced by force larger than themselves? This brings us to the curious case of the so-called Las Vegas files, a collection of evidence aside to have been gathered by private investigators hired by Shakur's family shortly after his passing. These files reportedly included surveillance footage of testimonies from nightclub staff and even alleged audio recordings from that fateful night. While much of this evidence was turned over to law enforcement, rumors persist that certain pieces of it mysteriously disappeared. Say these missing files could hold key to proving who was truly behind attack and whether it was part of a larger strategy to destabilize the West Coast rap scene. The question remains, who had the power to make such critical role of law enforcement in all of this? LAPD.
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
And Las Vegas Police Department have faced years of criticism for their handling of both Shakur and biggest cases accusations of corruption, mishandle evidence, and ties to gang activity have dogged these investigations from the start. Some even claim that certain officers were on the payroll of influential figures in the music industry tasked with protecting reputations of their clients at all cost. Could it be that the very system designate to deliver justice was complicit in covering up the truth, or is this yet another layer of misdirection? Keep us chasing shadows. Even more chilling are the theories that connect Diddy's alleged trafficking operation to a much larger network of power and influence. It's been suggested that the so-called Frucos weren't just playgrounds for the rich and famous boothubs for illegal activity tied to organized crime. Some insiders whisper about secret deals brokered at these events involving everything from laundering money to silence individuals who posed a threat, with federal agents now combing through thesized evidence from 90s homes. Thescopy of his alleged empire could extend far beyond what anyone ever imagined. If these connections are proven, it could blow the lid off not just the entertainment world, but also thepperful networks operating behind Thelits. Rewind the days leading up to Shakur's fateful night in Las Vegas. New whispers suggest that Shakur himself may have sensed that danger was closing in. Reports claim he warned Snoop Dogg on off his closest friends and collaborators not to come too. Vegas that weekend Imogen, the tension in that moment Shakur, a man known for his charisma and defiance, suddenly turning somber and protective, he reportedly begged Snoop to stay away, as if he knew something terrible was about to happen. Did Shakur's instinct save Snoop's life that night? Or as some speculate, did Snoop already have an inkling of what was brewing and quietly choose between Diddy Zip and the Southside Crips and the undeniable attention between Bad Boy Records and death? Row in the years leading up to Thelitz. Not forget the larger context, the East Coast versus West.
Yes. Yes. He hated every bit of it. I remember one time, he was like, who did you grow up listening to? I'm like, Tupac. I ain't mentioned Biggie. That nigga ain't even talk to me for like 4 fucking days after that. Everything with Pac, like, you couldn't say Pac was anything better than Biggie. You can't put them in the same realm or nothing. It was all about Biggie.
Stay on sidelines. Snoop's later interviews, and we add fuel to the fire. He has admitted to feeling uneasy around Shakur. The days before the shooting, describing a sense of distance and mistrust. Could this have been guilt premonition, or did Snoop no more thans ever let on? It's impossible to ignore the possibility that Snoop, like so many others in the industry, may have been aware of the tension bubbling under the surface, but chose to stay quiet. To protect himself, after all, in a world where allegiances shift like sand.
That the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence. David Willis.
And betrayal is just another business move, and then there's the FBI raid. If you thought things couldn't get any more twisted, buckle up when federal agents stormed Diddy's mansions. Earlier this year, what they reportedly found sent shock waves through both the legal system and the public. Among the items seized were hard drives, videos, and documents that prosecutors believe could blow the lid off Diddy's operations, but most chilling. Rumors swirling around these raids are the so-called freak-off files. For years, Diddy's infamous free frests were seen as nothing more than wild parties. Over-the-top gatherings where the elite of the entertainment world indulged in excess, but no whispers. Suggests these events may have been much more than that. Some believe that these gatherings doubled as meetings to broker deals, trade favors, and perhaps most disturbingly silence enemies. Cold, these files contain evidence of payments, threats, or even arrangements related to Shakur's demise. Could they reveal the machinery behind Diddy's alleged empire of manipulation and control? And if so, how far does this web of deceit truly stretch? We can only imagine the
stuff. He's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they told him...
Find off secrets hidden in those files, secrets that could implicate not just Diddy Butithers in his orbit. From industry power, the items seized were reportedly videos documenting some of the mass controversial accusations against Diddy. Aren't just lurid tales of excess. These are alleged recordings that could corroborate claims of exploitation and coercion. It raises the question: if Diddy was willing to exploit and control those closest to him, how far would he go to protect his empire? Could these tapes contain the key to understanding crimes, but also his role in the larger conspiracy surrounding Shakur's demise, and yet despite the mounting evidence? Diddy continues to deny everything. His legal team has dismissed the claims as spaceless, calling them a smear campaign designed to take down a black mogul who rose to power in a system rigged against them. But for critics, this defense rings shallow. They point to the sheer volume of accusations, the eerie parallels between Diddy's current legal troubles and Theramers that have followed him for decades, and the chilling possibility air on the edge of a story that feels too...
The latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly?
2. Tangled to fully grasp if Diddy's empire was built on manipulation veils and cover-ups. How many more secrets are waiting to be exposed? Could truth about Shakur's demise finally come to light? Or will it, like so many Nunjan's word questions in the world of celebrity and power, be buried? Forever, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this explosive story. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and stattened. The unease spreading across the world, hip-hop like a wildfire. The courtroom is spuzzing. The streets are talking, and the headlines can't look away this time. It's not just another rumor or recycled on Spory. Now this is something Muckbeggar Shandi. Combs, one of the most powerful figures in music history, is now accused of orchestrating the unthinkable 1996 Drivy attack on Shoka on not just any attack, but one allegedly motivated by fear, rivalry, and a bounty so large it could reshape the balance of. Desperate to protect his empire, offered $1 million, yes, $1 million for the lives of Shakur and Death Row Records boss Suge Knight. A price tag tied to revenge, survival, and some say silence.
We included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household.
A voice that had come too dangerous to let live. The accusations aren't new, but the details coming to light now are nothing short explosive. It all started with a bombshell confession from Dwayne Keith Davis, the so-called shot caller. Hawk claims to have been at the center of it all. Decades after Shakur's tragic passing, Keith D's chilling words have resurfaced, dragging Diddy's name Bakinto the spotlight. Keith D was being described as the leader of the crew that carried out the hit, revealed startling details in a secretly recorded interview with law enforcement. According to him, Diddy's fear of Suga Knight and growing hatred for Shakur fueled the lethal planning. That recording, Kef D claimed that Diddy once declared, "I'll give anything for that."
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what
that dude's head. Referring to together implication that Diddy, a rising star in the East Coast music scene, felt cornered by the escalating feud between his Bad Boy Records and Death Row Records. Shakur's infamous diss track, Hit 'Em Up, had only added fuel to the fire, publicly humiliating Diddy, Biggie Smalls, and their entire crew. Was this bounty on Shakur's life a desperate move to protect his legacy, or something darker, a calculated power play to eliminate the competition? Right now, Davis is fighting for bail ahead of his murder trial, which has pleaded not guilty for that. Courtroom revelations don't stop their echoes testimony. It paints a sinister picture of secret meetings and whisper-edials. He alleges that Diddy didn't just make a vague suggestion, he put cold hard cash on the table and left no room for misunderstandings. The bounty, he claims, was arranged through an intermediary, a man named Eric Zip Martin. ZIP, known for his connections to both music and street life, reportedly provided the weapon used in the drive-by, and was supposed to ensure that the money reached the hitman. But here's where the mystery depends. According to
the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come?
The $1 million payout never made it to his crew. Instead, rumors whirled that Zip pocketed the cash for himself, leaving the South Side Crips empty-handed and betrayed. This missing money raises a haunting question. If Diddy really did pay to silence Shakur, didn't the money make it to the hitman? Was this a simple case of greed and deception? Or could it be part of a larger, more sinister conspiracy? Some speculate that the missing funds were a deliberate move to cut ties and protect certain players from legal blowbackers. Suggest that the bounty itself might have been exaggerated, a dangerous promise made in a moment of desperation, bet never fully intended to be kept. Whatever the truth, this missing thread hangs over the story, like a shadow and knowns-word question that keeps pulling us deeper into the rabbit hole. Ike Amathor's the courtroom drama itself, which feels like a scene ripped from a Hollywood thriller. Keith Dionson Tobel is now the last man standing. His former crew members either silenced at B-time or gone in a haze of...
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as...
Street violence. His confession comes not just as a revelation, but as a haunting reminder of how far this feud spiraled out of control. Prosecutors have described him as a man who boasted dumptily about his role in Shakur's passing, even going as far as to detail the events in interviews in his own memoir. Why speak now after so many years of silence? Could it be an attempt to secure leniency in his own legal battles, or is this his way of finally unburdening himself of a secret too heavy to carry the courtroom? As electric as these revelations come to light, Kef's words are heavy with implication. But that defense isn't backing down. Did Saturnies have dismissed the claims as spear fiction, a desperate grab for attention by a man with nothing left. Tolos, they argue that Kez's story is riddled with inconsistencies and that no real evidence ties Diddy to the crime, but the prosecution paints a different picture. They say Kez's confession is two-tailed.
Strategic reasons for the prosecutors to want him to have co-defendant, because right now he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, which would force prosecutors to take him to trial pretty quick, which they actually might not be ready to do. But if they supersede him and have co-defendants with him, it makes it a lot easier to pursue a trial continuance without him waiving his speedy trial right.
Too specific to be fabricated. Point to the timeline of events. That connections between Diddy Zip and the Southside Crips, and the undeniable attention between Bad Boy Records and death row in the years leading up to Thelitz. Not forget the larger context, the East Coast versus West Coast feud that defined an era of hip-hop and left a trail of devastation in its wake. Shakur and Biggie weren't just